which is crypto users versus the internet. What we did here, well, Remy did it for me, was we started at 5 million users each. When they both hit 5 million, we then start measuring. And what we found is that crypto has been significantly outperforming the internet in terms of adoption. We're way ahead of internet adoption. So if we just continue at a kind of slightly slower pace, we get to 5 billion users by the end of the decade. So that's basically total adoption of crypto. Like the internet, we didn't profit. We couldn't buy tokens or shares of the internet. We had to find the companies that were going to win. The internet won, clearly. But here we can own the network.
And where do you see crypto going right now?
So in answer to right now, I don't know. The chart looks like it wants to go lower again and have another spike low. And that's been my view for a while. However, the crypto markets have not made a new low versus last year. And I think we've thrown 8% inflation, the market pricing in at 1.8 rate hike, and a war, and you haven't made a new low. It's like, okay, that's telling us something. Now, maybe that can change, but I mark that down as interesting. I've got a lot of technical divergences. A lot of the on-chain activity is very interesting. So I'm still thinking that we probably captured the downside in this 50% down bracket that we've been in with Bitcoin and ETH. So that's where I think we are, but I'd like to zoom out. So just like we did before, where are we before? So Brian, if you pick up the first chart, so I've talked about this before and just updated it for Global Macro Investor, my research service, which is crypto users versus the internet. What we did here, well, Remy did it for me, was we started at 5 million users each. When they both hit 5 million, we then start measuring. And what we found is that crypto has been significantly outperforming the internet in terms of adoption. We're way ahead of internet adoption. So if we just continue at a kind of slightly slower pace, we get to 5 billion users by the end of the decade. So that's basically total adoption of crypto. Like the internet, we didn't profit. We couldn't buy tokens or shares of the internet. We had to find the companies that were going to win. The internet won, clearly. But here we can own the network, right? This is how powerful it is, there's something called that. So Metcalfe's law is the network effect, but there's the other thing called Reed's law, and Reed's law is when you build network effects upon network effects and you get true exponentiality. So if we're thinking here, we're building foundation layer was the internet, then mobile data, 3G and all of that starts accelerating it, and broadband and all of those things, and then you add the internet of value on top. Of course it's more exponential by its very nature. And the fact that you can own part of the network makes it more attractive for everybody to be involved. So if we look at the next chart, I've got another chart of this. So what you can see is in the first 6 years, the internet grew at 76% a year or 78%. Crypto's been growing at 117%. So it's much faster growth. So we're at 300 million users now. At the same point, the internet was only at 119 million. So you can see the scale of how this happens. So if we assume that suddenly everything slows down in crypto adoption and we grow at the same speed the internet did over the next 4 years, so this is now from year 6 to year 10, we get to 500 million. So 1.2 billion. If we just assume the ratio lower, then we still get to, ridiculous numbers of 2 billion by 2026. So it's incredible. Yeah. And then, so the next chart is another interesting one about adoption. And this is the one I'm pretty proud of. So I've been bleating on about Metcalfe's law, network effects, how to value these things. And it's very hard to do because Metcalfe's law is quite a complicated formula and you don't know what data to use. So I thought, I wonder if I can approximate it. And Remy and I went through all of the data for writing Global Macro Investor. And what we built was a network value model. And we tried a number of different things and found out you can explain every crypto network by two simple things: the volume traded on a daily basis, monthly basis, and the number of active wallets over that period. Once you map that out, one multiplied by the other, the charts exactly fit that of Bitcoin. So we thought, okay, this is interesting. So basically the network is the amount of activity on the network, not in number of transactions, but in value that gets exchanged every day, and the number of people exchanging value. So if you think of a network, if you've got one participant who's doing $1 billion, it's not very valuable. But if you've got $1 billion being done by 20 people, you've now got a network. So it kind of makes sense. So I wanted to then test it against Ethereum. So if we look at the next chart, it works perfectly for Ethereum as well. So that's Ethereum. So really interesting. And it also works for XRP, which is weird. You wouldn't imagine it would, but XRP works exactly the same. So then I tried it for Polkadot and it works exactly the same. So what it shows you is everything in a network is basically volume of transactions in dollar terms or value terms and the number of people. That's it. And that I think is a big breakthrough for the space. I don't want to pat myself on the back. Now, doesn't mean I can yet forecast it using this, but I can show what drives the value of a network. And I'm working on other models now to start having forward-looking indicators to understand, okay, what's really going on. ETH model is slightly deviating fair value, and I think that is because there is a difference in ETH versus all the other networks that I've shown you so far. And that is because, so if you look at the ETH price in blue, it's higher than the network. And I think that is to do with burning of token. So if I were to model this better in ones where there is a token burning model, you should see a slight outperformance versus this model, because obviously you're reducing supply all the time.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.